At the edge of the old continent, where the fierce waves of the Atlantic roar and thick mists shroud the jagged cliffs, lie islands that have stood for millennia as the final stop of all journeys. To ancient travelers, this was the edge of the world, a land of myths and unnamed gods. But beneath that mist, a magnificent story of survival, brutal genetic purges, and the rise of national identities has unfolded. We often speak of the English, the Welsh, the Scots, or the Irish as distinct entities on a modern political map. But the truth, buried deep within their cells, tells a far different story. A tale of ghosts still lurking in the blood of every person living on these islands today. Let us turn back time to about 12,000 years ago, when the massive ice sheets of the last glacial period began to retreat, leaving behind a pristine, cold, but promising land. At that time, sea levels were still incredibly low, and a vast expanse of land known as Doggerland connected Britain to continental Europe. The first footsteps on this land were not those of kings or expeditionary forces, but of Western hunter-gatherers. They were true pioneers, surviving the harsh frost through pure instinct. If you could stand before them then, you would face a paradox of appearance. They possessed skin ranging from dark brown to ebony black, a trait that helped them absorb the weak northern sunlight. Yet their eyes were a piercing blue, like a winter sky. This was not just a rare genetic combination, carrying haplogroups 1, 2, and U5, but a testament to a chapter of human history we almost forgot. They lived in a world of birch forests and reindeer herds, where life and death were but a heartbeat apart.
Keep rowing. The cliffs are close. Steer left. Watch the waves.
However, the stillness of the Paleolithic did not last forever. Around 4000 BC, a first shockwave arrived, completely changing the face of the islands. From distant Anatolia, the first farmers began a great migration, bringing wheat seeds, barley, and an entirely new concept: land ownership. This was a turning point, both culturally and biologically. These farmers were shorter in stature, with olive skin and dark hair, introducing entirely new bloodlines like G2A. They were not just cultivators, they were architects of the spirit, dedicating their lives to building massive stone monuments that defy time, with Stonehenge being the pinnacle. Imagine thousands of people working together, not to conquer, but to connect with the stars. It was a society tightly bound by faith.
Steady now! We approach the shore!
But prehistoric history is a series of events far more brutal than we imagine. Around 2400 BC, a new group appeared from the east, the Bell Beakers. They brought bronze, wheels, and an aggressive livestock herding lifestyle from the Russian steppes. Looking at ancient DNA, scientists discovered a shocking truth. In just a few centuries, the Bell Beakers replaced up to 90% of the indigenous genetic structure. The builders of Stonehenge vanished from the genetic record as if they never existed. This raises a major question. Was it a genocide or a plague disaster? These victors, carrying the R1b gene group, are the true ancestors of most men on the islands today, bringing the seeds of Indo-European languages and a new era of metal and power. Their arrival ended the era of great stone circles to usher in the age of warriors and hill forts.
A new era of metal and power has begun.
The dominance of the Bell Beakers was then fragmented by the very geography of the islands, creating the distinct identities we see today. Look at Wales, a land of steep valleys and rolling mountain ranges. Wales is not just a land, it is a genetic fortress. As waves of Romans or Anglo-Saxons poured into the eastern lowlands, The ancient Britons retreated into the deep mountains to preserve their bloodlines. Modern science has proven that the Welsh people today hold the closest link to the Bronze Age population. They are the guardians of a continuous bloodline that has never been completely diluted, where the R1BL21 gene group reigns supreme. Every time you hear a Welsh song, you are not just hearing a language, you are hearing the echoes of a world that existed before the Roman Empire was even formed. Their resilience in maintaining identity amidst the surrounding empires is a lesson in national pride. Across the Irish Sea, Ireland tells a story of proud isolation. As the island furthest to the west, Ireland was never conquered by the Roman legions. The absence of Mediterranean culture allowed an ancient Gaelic genetic and cultural core to develop purely for thousands of years. However, that stillness was shattered by dragon ships from the north. Vikings from Norway arrived and left an indelible mark on coastal cities like Dublin or Cork. Modern Irish blood is a strange combination. An incredibly stable Bronze Age core in the western countryside, intertwined with powerful Nordic genetic strands on the coast. It is a balance between the island's stillness and the ocean's fury. The Irish turned the trauma of invasions into a brilliant culture of storytelling and music, a way for the national soul to never be extinguished. Continuing north to Scotland, we find a true crucible of the north. Scotland is not a single genetic entity, but a symphony forged from opposing pieces. There are the Picts, the mysterious painted people of the Iron Age, who clung to the frozen north while the south was changing rapidly. They were prehistoric guerrilla warriors, using the rugged terrain to defeat the strongest enemies. Then came the arrival of Gaels from Ireland, bringing new speech and culture, and finally, the Norwegian Vikings. In northern islands like Orkney, Norwegian DNA accounts for a quarter of the genetic structure. Modern Scots are the result of a collision between resilient indigenous tribes and fearless seafaring warriors, creating an unmistakable northern character. Finally, there is England, the land most heavily influenced by the continent. Situated as a gateway, England has always been the first stop for every invasion. After the Romans withdrew, a massive population migration from Germanic tribes like the Anglo-Saxons completely changed the genetic structure in the East. Up to 50% of the local DNA was replaced by bloodlines from Germany and Denmark. Modern English people are a complex synthesis, a genetic organism bred between ancient Britons and North Sea warriors. They possess the most diversity, but are also the furthest removed from their original prehistoric roots. This synthesis was the source of strength that helped England become a global empire later, thanks to its ability to absorb and transform ideas from the continent.
Look at the wear patterns on the molars.
To better understand the presence of these ghosts, look at an incredible true story. In Somerset, the 10,000-year-old skeleton of Cheddar Man was found. When scientists tested the DNA of people living around that cave today, they found a history teacher with a nearly perfect DNA match. Imagine, 10 millennia have passed, many empires have fallen, many migrations have occurred, but the genetic link between a modern man and a Stone Age hunter remains unbroken. Or, in Western Ireland, those with the surname O'Brien still carry the same biological code their ancestors used when they first forged the first bronze swords. These examples show we have never truly been alone in the flow of time. We carry the memory of our ancestors in every breath, every heartbeat. The identity of a person or a nation is never a static block of stone. It is a constantly moving river. Wales teaches us about resilience and loyalty to roots. Ireland teaches us about the power of revival after storms. Scotland teaches us how to harmonize opposing elements to create a strong entity. And England teaches us about adaptation and intersection. When looking in the mirror, ask yourself, how many ghosts are looking back at you? We are living archives, carrying the memories of thousands of years ago. Never think the past is lost. It is still there, right under your skin. The greatest lesson prehistory leaves behind is connection. No one is pure. We are all hybrids, the result of a magnificent journey rising from the mists of time. Live worthily of the efforts of thousands of generations who fought for you to be here today. Cherish your heritage, for you are the next chapter of a heroic story that began with the first steps on the frozen ground 12,000 years ago.